Hello, welcome to Varieties. This is Sri Lakshmi. Our website is sharvaries.in. Sarees are immensely beautiful and attractive, yet there are many women who shy away from using sarees because they have pressing concerns about Saree Care. This video is aimed at dealing with different aspects of Saree Care that will ensure a long life for your precious sarees. The most important thing about Saree Care is the kind of pins that you use to secure your saree. Many women use those steel safety pins that are easily available and affordable, but the problem that they come with is that they sometimes have rough edges that tear through your sarees. Especially if you're wearing sarees like chiffon sarees, they can be really troublesome. So I would strongly recommend that you use Sari pins that are specifically made for this purpose. So take a look at this pin. This is the kind of pin that I use. It has a smooth surface that will make sure that your sarees are safe and protected. Likewise, please also make sure that your nails are smooth if you like to have long nails. I keep my nails short, but if you do have long nails, make sure that they're always smooth, especially if you're again wearing delicate chiffon sarees. The next important thing is the kind of bangles that you use as accessories for your sarees, or even the long chains like the kind of ones that I'm wearing now. So if you're wearing chains or bangles that have rough edges, they can be dangerous to your sarees. These are relatively smooth, but even this kind of bangle I would avoid if I'm wearing a chiffon saree, because when you move your hands, it can be potentially damaging for the saree. If you have a pallu with a web of threads on the reverse side, so for example this pallu is smooth, but sometimes you have a lot of thread work on the pallu, and on the reverse side you might have a web of threads. If you have wearing a saree with that kind of pallu, please make sure that you stitch it up with a net so that it doesn't get caught up, that is the threads don't get caught up with your bangles. Now we are going to talk about wash care for sarees. On our website, we have provided specific wash care instructions for every saree that we sell. So please do check out those instructions carefully before you purchase our sarees. Now here I have a semi-crepe saree that lends itself to regular rough and tough use. This can be safely washed in the washing machine. Of course, in general, I would recommend that you manually wash sarees as far as possible, but if you do have a hectic schedule, you might prefer to just get it machine washed. So if you're going to do that, please make sure that the saree actually lends itself to machine wash. Not all sarees can be machine washed. Now this one is a semi-crepe saree, so this is fine, but if you are using an Italian crepe saree, that should only be dry washed. Now this saree can also get damaged if you throw it in with blouses or other garments that have hooks. So if you're going to do that, what I would do is use this kind of laundry bag. This kind of laundry bags are easily available online. So all you need to do is put your blouse and other garments which have hooks into this, zip it up and throw this together in the washing machine. Now your saree is relatively safe. This is a handloom saree with a slight synthetic mix. It's mostly cotton, but it has a slight synthetic mix, making it easy to maintain, so I do not have to starch it. Now this saree looks new, but I've actually used it many times. So what I do with many of my sarees is that I home wash them and then I give them for roller press. So roller press is a very good option. This will make sure that your sarees look almost brand new. So you can see how this looks new. It has a very smooth surface, whereas if you get it just ironed at home or if you give it to the istri wala, you can still see some creases here and there. But if you go for roller press, it's going to look like a brand new saree. So this is something that I use for many of my sarees, due to which I have a huge collection of sarees, because my sarees remain new for a very long period of time. Now another thing that I would draw your attention to is this kind of tassels. Many people like to keep these tassels, but of late I prefer to get them cut off. The reason is that if you have a workplace where something or the other protrudes from your office furniture or any other furniture at your workplace, like for example, I had one bench at my workplace which had a nail that was sticking out, and that tore through my saree because these tassels got caught there. So I would recommend that you cut them off if you have to and just get a picot done. That would also keep your saree safe. Now here we have a chiffon saree. It's a pure chiffon saree. So especially with such delicate sarees, you have to be very careful. So here I have a hanger which has a velvet texture to it. So this provides a very smooth surface for this kind of delicate sarees. If you happen to have a plastic hanger, again make sure, just like in the case of steel safety pins, that it does not have any rough edges. Mostly plastic hangers do have rough edges, so I normally avoid using them. Steel hangers and this kind of hangers are safer. So since this is safe, you can just hang the saree on this. If you have a space constraint, you can also keep it folded. Any sarees, if you keep them folded in the same condition for a very long period of time, they're likely to tear off again. So keep changing the folds as often as possible, preferably every 2 to 3 months or at least every 6 months. This is especially important with silk sarees. This is a saree that I inherited from my mom. She used it for quite a few years and I have also used it for many years. So this saree should be easily about 40 years old or so. It still looks like a new saree. It's of a very good quality, but it's also important to ensure that these sarees are manually washed. The reason is that, see, this border is delicate. The glitter on the saree is also something that can come off with very rough wash. So I have been manually washing this saree and I just dip it and dry it. So this drip dry method is also very important. Do not wring sarees. When you wash a saree and you wring it, obviously it will leave more creases on the saree. So if you just drip and very gently squeeze with your hands but do not wring it, and then just do this once before you drip it dry, that will make sure that there are very few creases on the saree. You can store it this way on a hanger. You can also keep it folded. Next, we're going to take a look at where to drip dry your saree and how to iron your sarees. It is important to drip dry your sarees in shade, not under direct sunlight, because direct sunlight can ruin the colors on your saree. It may make them fade very quickly. Now when it comes to ironing your saree, especially with sarees like this that have a brasso texture or sarees which are hand painted, please make sure that you iron on the reverse side, that is on this side. So put a thick piece of cloth on the ironing board, put the saree on this side, that's on the reverse side, and then use low to medium heat for gentle ironing. Do not use excessive heat, especially with hand painted sarees, because it will just melt away the paint. Next, we're going to take a look at how to take care of silk cotton sarees. Silk cotton sarees mostly have a 50-50 mix of pure silk and cotton. So they are delicate sarees as well. So it's important to do gentle wash for these sarees. Preferably, silk cotton sarees should also be dry washed at least the first couple of times. After that, you can safely wash it at home. Now since these are quite delicate sarees, that is they have silk in them, it's important to avoid using strong detergents. So I would recommend that you do shampoo wash, that is take any shampoo at home, use that in the place of a detergent, just dip the saree, give it a gentle rub, rinse it and drip dry. Do not wring the saree because it will leave terrible creases on the saree. Now we are going to talk about how to take care of silk sarees. There are 4 main varieties of silk sarees produced in India: mulberry silk, eri silk, tassar silk and muga silk. Now to keep things simple, the last 3 categories are going to be treated as one category, that is eri silk, muga silk and tassar silk are normally called vanya silks. So I'll talk about how to take care of them and I'll talk about how to take care of mulberry silk sarees separately. Mulberry silk sarees, many of them are also called Kanchipuram silk sarees or Kanjivarams. Now this is a tassar silk saree with a digital print. On our website, I would have mentioned that dry clean alone is preferable for this saree. But if you live in a place where dry cleaning is not possible, and if you're going to hand wash it, I would still suggest that you go for dry cleaning at least for the first 3 times and then go for hand wash at home. So as I said earlier, use very gentle detergent, that is something like Easy or Genteel, or you can use a shampoo wash, but do not soak it at all. silks can very easily lose their color, so you just have to dip it, rinse it and dry it. And make sure that you dry silks on a flat surface and only in shade, never under direct sunlight. And again, as I said earlier, for hand painted sarees, please make sure that you iron all silks only on the reverse side using gentle iron, that is low to medium heat. Another important aspect to bear in mind when you iron silk sarees of any kind, not just Tassar silk sarees, is that please make sure that you do not use steam iron. This can leave terrible water spots on your silk sarees. Also, please ensure that you do not spray water before you iron silk sarees. You should use only dry iron for any silk saree. Here I have a mulberry silk saree or a Kanjivaram silk saree. This has zari work on it. So I'll also talk about how to store this kind of saree. But first things first, such expensive sarees, this happens to be my wedding saree by the way. Such expensive sarees, preferably only dry clean them. And as I said earlier, if you do not have access to dry cleaning, at least please ensure that you do not store such sarees with your sweat there. Please make sure that the saree is completely dry before you put it in your wardrobe. So just let it dry in shade, not under direct sunlight, and preferably, if possible, give it for dry clean. Make sure that it is completely clean, free of dust, free of moisture, and then put it in your wardrobe. Now, another aspect that you need to remember before you put such zari work sarees in your wardrobe is that this zari should not come into direct contact with metal or wood, especially not wood, because that can lead to blackening of the zari. So what you need to do is make sure that you fold up this silk saree and wrap it up in a cotton cloth bag. Sorry about that. Cotton cloth bags, that is saree bags, are easily available online. You can also instead just use an old cotton saree or any old cotton cloth which is clean and dry. So just wrap up the saree in this cotton cloth and then put it in your wardrobe. Right? And also, to make sure that there is absolutely no moisture, you can leave some silica gel sachets that will absorb any moisture that is still remaining in your wardrobe. So this will ensure a long life for your precious silk sarees. It's also important to bear in mind that you need to keep changing the folding. So this is the folding that you see in the saree after it has gone for a dry clean. Now every 3 to 6 months, I should keep changing the folding. If I leave it this way for too long, after some years, if I open the saree, it would have just torn at the folds. So that is something that's pretty, serious, and it makes you feel very bad. So please make sure that you change the fold of the saree every now and then and keep it completely free of moisture, because either of this can just make the saree tear. Here I have another Kanjipuram silk saree. This has no zari in it, so you need not worry too much about keeping it wrapped up in a cotton cloth. But another thing that you need to bear in mind is that all silks need to be periodically exposed to fresh air. So every 6 months, please make sure that it gets some fresh air. Do not just keep it stuffed in the wardrobe all the time. So this one does not have any zari work, so you can just leave it hanging in the wardrobe. You can also still keep it wrapped up in a cotton cloth if that makes you feel that your saree is safer. But since there is no zari, there isn't too much to worry about. This saree, you'd be surprised to know, is about 50 years old. It was used by my grandmother and then my mother, and I have also used it. It still remains new because I never washed it with water. It has only been dry cleaned. I hope you found our tips for Sari Care very useful. Please do like our video if you found it useful, share it with your friends, relatives, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.